Lesson 235, God in his mercy wills that I be saved. I picked this lesson, I don't know, Tuesday, I think it was, before any of this that has happened lately happened. And I don't think this lesson is ever about denial. I think sometimes people start looking at these lessons in the course and they think it's about not paying attention to the world. This is about paying attention to the world, but not getting locked into it. It's like driving by an accident. Have you ever been in or seen an accident or been driving by when an accident has just happened or occurred and they have the emergency vehicles up there and you're driving by? And what do the police want you to do? They want you to keep moving, right? They want you to keep moving on. Doesn't mean we're not compassionate. We may look at the accident, we may see what's going on, and hopefully that when we do, we're not sitting there going, oh, what a terrible accident. Maybe we're sending a blessing, a silent blessing that way. Maybe we're just knowing that it's a good lesson for all of us to remind ourselves not to be so fast in driving or be more aware and just, always kind of seeing a way that we can be of service and not always stopping, not always doing the thing in the form, but to move on. And sometimes that's the most healing thing we can do. The same thing is true for the Course. The Course is saying, acknowledge what's going on in the world, but recognize there's so much more going on here than we even know. And that the answer is not meeting the effect of the illusion. The answer is meeting the cause, which is this thought of lack of love, that we are not connected, that we do not know who we are. And so what this is saying is it's time for us to be productive members by remembering who we are, by knowing on a very deep level who we are. We say these workbook lessons. If you've gone through the lessons, you've probably said them and you've thought nothing's happened. But, to me, the Course is like cooking in a crock pot. It's working on a level that you're not even aware of how it works. When Jeffrey did he was in chemistry and his last project of the year last year was a cooking project. And they had to cook some sort of recipe, but they couldn't just cook the recipe. They had to videotape it, and they had to, or is that right? Videotape? Now you don't videotape, do you? You record. There's no videotape anymore. Anyway, you had to record it, and you had to tell what was happening in the chemical process as it was being cooked. Well, it's the first time in my life I knew any of the things that happened during the chemical. I had no idea how my oven worked. Until he had to, I didn't. I mean, I knew you pushed a button and it heated. I don't know what's going on in there, the air molecules and all the other things that are moving around. When they put the meat in a frying pan, I had no idea it was the browning effect. I mean, I didn't know all these technical terms that it was losing an ion something or other or something. It was trading with something else back and forth there. You just cooked it. And I'm learning all these things that are going on. But you know what? All this stuff is happening, and we don't even know how it works, right? We don't understand it all, but it's going on. The same is true for God. He's working even when you're not knowing it. He's always working. And what he needs from us, as the Course would say, is just a little willingness to join our mind with his, to not get stuck in the form of the illusion of the world. Go a little deeper. Go a little deeper. And that's kind of what I felt this morning when I had that kind of gear shift, it seemed like inside my soul, where I just went deeper, clunk. And I could feel that sense of the love of God within me now, that's the answer for me. But me as a universal me for all of us. And so what this is saying is, I need to look upon all things that seem to hurt me, which is what might hurt others, which might be painful to the world, and with perfect certainty assure myself that God wills that I be saved from this, and merely watch them disappear. The same thing is true to say, I feel the love of God within me now, that is the answer to what we think is going on here. It's so much deeper than what we think. And if we just deal with the effect, we just get more effects. But if we can begin to deal with the cause, we can begin to heal the problem. Don't just put a Band-Aid on it. You probably have heard that before. Just don't put a Band-Aid on it. We gotta really deal with what's going on here, or we keep getting the same thing over and over again. And I don't know about you, but it seems like we do get a lot of the same stuff over and over again, don't we? The characters just change, but it seems to always be the same thing. There's a lot of pain and suffering out there. There are a lot of people feeling very empty out there. There's a lot of hurt out there. And maybe there's a lot of hurt in you. Maybe you feel a lot of emptiness. It's time to heal on the level where healing can truly take place. I feel the love of God within me now. And I don't know how that works, but that's not my job. My job is to begin the process of healing and allow God to work through me. That's why this says, God in his mercy wills that I be saved. He doesn't will for me pain and suffering. I mean, that's the impression we've gotten from traditional Christianity. And what does the Course say? The Course came along to correct the misperception in Christianity. Because why? It said the way Christianity is being taught today isn't very Christian. You ever thought about that? Christianity is a verb. It's not a noun that we wear. It's an action that we do. It's time for us to be more Christian, if you will. And what would that mean? I mean, what did Jesus say? Let's go back to the big C, if you want. What do you say? Forgive 70 times 7? Turn the other cheek. It was always about love from the perspective of Jesus, and God was always about love. He was not about you suffering. It was not about you being in pain. He was not about you hating or attacking. It was not about this eternal justice of this God with a sword. It was a God of love. That was his message. That was when we were under the New Testament. That was very different than the Old Testament of this angry God. And Christianity kind of mixes it up today. We still get a little of the Old Testament with the New Testament. We get kind of an angry God along with that nice God every once in a while. But this God that I believe Jesus spoke of, and if you've ever read some of the Gospels of Thomas or the Gospel of Mary or the Gospel of Judas, which are some of the Gospels of the Nag Hammadi texts that didn't make it into the Bible, you see a very kind of different approach of Jesus and a very different approach towards God. Much more of a loving approach than what we see in the traditional aspects of the Bible today. A God that is very similar to what we see in A Course in Miracles.